connecting for some reason. Morning, everybody. Welcome to Ben on the Fen. Hopefully, some of you have seen. I've literally just changed some of the links. I'd set this to 8 p.m. Dog in the legs. 8 p.m. instead of 8 a.m. However, we're live. We're on. We're all good. I'm not Ben on the Fen today. I'm over on Nethered Moor. But don't worry, the alliteration will continue because I am joined by Megan Howard from Larking Gowen. So we have Megan on the moor today. So I'm going to swap hands so Megan can say hello.
Hello.
So I'm delighted to be joined by Megan. Megan works for Larking Gowen, who are one of the region's most respected accountancy firms. Megan's journey through the world of finance is not only impressive, but also deeply inspiring. From her early days, learning the ropes with a little help from yours truly, to now playing a key role helping businesses thrive. Megan brings a wealth of insight, experience, and a touch of humour to everything she does.
This is definitely live because we've got dogs on.
It is definitely live. We have dogs. Shall we march quickly across?
Yeah.
We've got some other dogs. It's all right. Good boy, Fred. Morning. There we go. We are past. The dogs are good. Okay. So I will let Megan do it. Oh, we've got a dog in the lake.
Yeah.
They say don't work with children and dogs.
Okay.
Children and animals,
Okay.
don't they? I'm now wet.
Sorry, we're past water and other dogs.
So I've given the intro, but I'll let Megan tell you who she is and what she does.
Thank you. So yeah, I'm Megan from Larking Gowen. So I've spent the last 11 years at Larking Gowen. Joined from sixth form, so literally across this field is where I went to sixth form at Dereham. I suppose that Dereham's always been my kind of area, but I work across Fakenham, Holt, up to the North Norfolk coast, and then I also have some clients in the Norwich area now as well. So yeah, a big spread area that I work across, but lots and lots of different types of businesses now.
Yeah, and you deal with all kinds of aspects other than audit, I think, is right, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So don't ask me an audit question. I can make sure.
Sorry, any auditors that might be watching. We're not audit fans.
Make sure you're not in the audit threshold, obviously. But yeah, from VAT through to, I don't know, corporation tax, income tax, capital gains, whatever it might be. I suppose the type of client I deal with are usually owner managed businesses, similar to Ben, that need every aspect looked at. The role that I have is not one kind of area. I know a little bit about a lot.
Yeah. Traditional practice accountant.
Absolutely. Yeah, general practice is what most people would call it. Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Right, thank you for the little introduction. So we will start at the very beginning. What drew you to accountancy and how did your journey with Larking Gowen begin?
Yeah, so I'm afraid I just fell into it.
No inspiring story
exactly,
or anything?
Absolutely. No. I suppose it's almost a classic that I liked maths and business studies. So when I did my A-levels, I focused mostly on those kind of sciences and mathematics. And from there, I then looked at going to uni. I was going to be kind of the first in my family to go to uni. My mum had already crocheted me the blanket I was going to take to uni. And then basically this apprenticeship came to our form tutor that was from Larking Gowen for an accountancy apprenticeship. I mean, I'd done work experience at vets, so my love of animals, and I wanted to be a vet really. At one point I wanted to be a teacher, but I kind of fell into accountancy, and to be honest, it's been one of the best things. I just think anyone that I speak to, I just say that the fundamentals that you get from doing the first couple of years in an office environment or in an accounts team or whatever will definitely set you up for anything else that you want to do if that isn't what you want to pursue later on in life.
There's a lot of transferable skills, isn't there?
Huge amount of transferable skills. Communicating with people. I think a lot of people think that accountancy is just about maths as well. So yes, it was maths and business, and that's what kind of maybe stirred me a little bit to this, but actually being able to talk to people is probably the biggest thing that I have to deal with as being what we call a portfolio holder, so client manager. Getting rid of some jargon and talking to people on a level that they actually understand it is quite important.
Yeah, it is, isn't it? I think that I would say that was my start as well. I was good at maths, so went down the accountancy route. More dogs. Yeah, and that's what you think. Oh, maths accountant, but actually, when you start to develop your career and you get further in, you realise it's about people, and any business is about people.
Absolutely.
Really. Yes, they've got to have a product, but if you haven't got the right people behind it or service, you're not gonna do well. Obviously, you started. It was Larking Gowen. You went and joined the apprenticeship.
Yeah, it was.
And obviously, you said you're primarily based from Fakenham, but then you've done some stints when there used to be the Dereham office.
Yeah.
Hull, Norwich, probably a bit of Cromer when that was open.
I did go to Cromer for 2 days.
Yeah. But and then obviously there's the Ipswich, and then down in is it still Colchester?
Yes.
Yeah, still Colchester. Yeah. But can't imagine you venture down there very often.
No, Joe, I've done a little bit of a digital roadshow down there a couple of months ago, so I've been to the offices, but in terms of actual working there, it's not really needed as such anymore because of how everything's all digitalised, which is quite good. We'll go around.
Yeah. Yes. No. COVID definitely accelerated that, didn't it?
Yeah.
But
it's good and bad. I think from a lot of our clients, you might ask me this in a minute. Sorry, but
no, you're
the
fine.
COVID, how it changed the kind of thought process of how accounts and stuff get put together and how we communicate with our clients changed hugely. But in my personal view, for the better, because the time spent now isn't on getting the records in, sifting through the records and all of that. You now have more time to talk to your clients about things that are actually important to them. So, yeah,
definitely. So that kind of leads into the next question-ish. But you obviously, I know we work on some mutual clients together. You work with a wide range of businesses from all different sectors and backgrounds. But I imagine you must see common challenges. What would you say was the most common challenge you see, and how do you help clients to navigate that?
Yeah, so I do deal with a lot of different types of businesses. I think the most common challenges that the people we deal with are entrepreneurs. They're, the business owners. Their trade is what they do.
Yeah.
And the admin stuff is just a bit boring, isn't it? And they don't want to do that stuff, and they don't want to pay tax. And they, the challenge they face mostly is they want to be able to spend the time doing what they love doing and finding the quickest, easiest solution for them is probably one of their biggest challenges.
Yeah.
Because it comes down to enable them to do what they want to do. They need to be able to know what their cash flow is. They want to know what their tax liability is going to be. But the admin stuff to get there isn't always their favourite bit.
Well, that leads into nicely the next question. Obviously, Morphry Thyme, hello everybody. Morphry Thyme and Larking Gowen have got a really good working relationship. We've got a number of mutual clients. Part of that is due to my history. Obviously, I worked for Larking Gowen for a while, so I know a number of people there. But most people were like, well, why do I need a bookkeeper and an accountant? Now, in practice, Megan, what does that collaboration look like, and why does it work so well?
Yeah, so in the ones that we deal with together, the way it looks is Ben goes in, does the bookkeeping with his team, keeps them up to date with all of their bookkeeping. Sometimes it's actually getting historical stuff up to date. As oh gosh, I haven't submitted like 6 VAT returns. Well, that's okay, we can deal with that. But Ben can also deal with that with his team, get you all up to date and get you into a good flow. And then we come in as tax advisors mostly and provide some insight from the clients that we've seen across our portfolios as well. So the way it works well for us is it's always on a timely basis. We can give that proactive tax advice, but we can also work with Ben or Louise or whoever in the team, so that when we say, okay, they need to be thinking about this, they need to be doing this, we've then got someone on your side to help make that happen as well. Just to remind the client, I know, hang on, that's what we did speak about in that meeting. So when we collaborated, it means that we're all on the same page for a common goal as well.
Yeah, and I think something I see a lot on LinkedIn, I read and scroll, doom scroll they call it, don't they?
Yeah.
On LinkedIn. And one of the things people talk about is accountants have to increase their advisory, get more advisory work because compliance is going to die. But I saw a comment from someone the other day. Oh, we've got some more dogs all saying hello. Yeah. So I think that's an ex-client of mine. Used to be at Larking Gowen. Anyway, where was I going? What was I saying?
When you worked at Larking Gowen?
Yeah, I can't remember now. No, advisory, and that's the big buzzword. But someone commented that actually good compliance work is advisory, because if you're on top of the compliance, you're on top of the tax liabilities, you're able to advise the clients.
Yeah.
And it's a sexy word, really, I think.
Yes. So I work in our digital group, and we have always said there's kind of two areas to digital. There's the getting someone on the software, and there's the actual data quality and making sure that that is good enough. So then you can go on to the next bit of the advisory. So yeah, that middle bit, that having the quality data, is so important. Otherwise you can't do the advisory stuff anyway, because you don't know what someone's profits are going to be, so you don't know what dividend they can take, so you don't know what salary they can take and stuff. So
yeah,
it all does start with that quality data,
and that is definitely where our collaboration works well, because we're on top of it.
Yeah.
We're making sure the data is as up to date as our clients will enable us it to be.
Yeah, I mean, we had what was it, 31st of January year end. When did we get them filed?
End of March, wasn't it? I think.
March, yeah.
Yeah,
big business.
Yeah, because they needed them filed because they were a decent set of accounts. It was going to help with their credit ratings and all that sort of stuff. They needed it for the bank as well, looking at some funding. But we delivered, didn't we? We got it done.
Yeah.
That client is a little bit demanding. He will know who he is if he's watching. And I don't care if he doesn't like me saying that. He's not demanding to you, no. Cool. Right, let's go back to you for a bit. So looking back at your earlier career, what lesson or piece of advice stuck with you, and who gave it to you?
Yeah, so yesterday I was racking my brain, and then I thought, actually, there's quite a few things that have probably stuck with me over the years. So the first one was know your client. So partner at Larking Gowen, who's recently retired, would always walk around the office and say, oh, what are you working on? And what do they do? And I think that he used to do that because his partner back in the day also used to do it to him. And knowing your client and knowing what they actually care about has probably stuck with me quite a lot.
I know which partner you mean,
Yeah.
and I would say the similar thing was with me as well.
Because you don't, you could go off and do a load of things that client maybe doesn't care about, want, need, etc. But equally, it might not be relevant to them. You don't know what they do. You can't add that extra value. So knowing your client, knowing what's happening across that industry that they operate in, has definitely stuck with me.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's really good advice. And I think at the end of the day, you can't really, when you're in professional services, unless you make that investment of time to know who you're working with, you can't properly advise them or help them.
No, absolutely.
So, yes, cool, that's good. Right, the big thing at the moment is digital and AI, the world of accountancy. If you believe the naysayers and the doomsday people, accountants and bookkeepers will not have a job in the next 5 years. So it's evolving fast. How are you and the rest of the team at Larking Gowen adapting to these sort of digital transformations and also client expectations?
Yeah, so we already have, I mean, across all of our new intake, they all have a basic level understanding of how to use software, the typical accounting software, Xero, QuickBooks, Dex, whatever it might be. And then because they come straight in and they then can use that skill and knowledge for anything else that then crops up as well. So if you get a random software that comes in, it's okay because they're already used to using that. So as a basic, all of our guys are already trained in those areas all the way up to all the portfolio holders as well. We're constantly looking at new things, new ways of doing things, saving time, improving the quality of data, whatever it might be. So making sure that it's not an everyone kind of job either. I think some people would say, oh, well, we all need to know everything about everything. But you do find that certain people love the tech, don't they? And love that sort of thing. So we do have a couple of people that are, responsible for looking at new things, attending things like XeroCon, which Morphry Thyme went to as well, and seeing what's the newest, latest thing. But also not just getting sucked into, oh, let's just do it. It's important to make sure the things that you're implementing are really good for your clients as well.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't know. It's probably harder for you. It's probably easier for a firm like us because if we come across something, I can test it out on Morphry Thyme.
Yeah.
And see if it works and see if it's going to be beneficial.
Yeah.
Obviously, with a larger firm like yourselves, I'm guessing you probably need to try and find a client who will give it a bit of a beta test.
Yeah, and the clients are very willing a lot of the time to try something if we're doing it on a trial basis. Then they are willing to try things, which is quite good. And it comes down to, again, knowing your clients, so knowing which one is going to be quite receptive to that.
Yeah.
But generally, most of them are quite on board with it. You get the odd one that isn't. But it has made our lives a lot easier in some ways. Like I've already said before, you don't have a huge amount of records coming in. So a job's ready to go as soon as that last VAT return is filed or the bank's reconciled. You can just get on with it and then spend the time with the clients talking about the important things, not just the your bank doesn't reconcile.
Yeah, well, I know it was about 10 years ago when I was at Larking Gowen. I was one of the QuickBooks champions, I think was the term. Did all the QuickBooks training, learn all about QuickBooks, and it was kind of then that we were trying to move people onto the cloud. And again, I think, again, we mentioned COVID, but I think COVID has accelerated people onto cloud products because they're realizing you can then access it from anywhere. It's easier. One of the challenges we had was all our clients get Dexed, and we tell them use Dexed. And we had quite a bit of pushback from some of them. Why do I need to do? I can just give you the paperwork.
That's another thing,
But once you show them how easy it is on their phone, take a picture and then submit, and that's all you need to do. They're like, really? Oh, okay. Here's the email address. Forward the emails in. And it's just getting people to trust the process, isn't it? A lot of the time.
Yeah, it is, and I think once you've got that kind of the starting point all sorted, the inputting, the automation, then you come through to back to the end of it again, where it's the advisory side of things. So then the tech that we look at a lot is pulling off the key bits from QuickBooks or Xero to then have those conversations with clients that are more valuable to them. So saying that accountants and bookkeepers are not going to be around in a few years, and maybe that's right. So how we're future-proofing ourselves is looking at that end thing as well, of what advisory can we give and what tech can we use to get there. So we've got a good team in place, mostly out of Norwich, but that can do Power BI reports, which what you can get from that is just amazing. To someone that we're dealing with that's got Fathom linked up as well. But it might be in a couple of years those things aren't the best thing for clients. So we've got a lot maybe were on QuickBooks before, switching to Xero and vice versa, working on what's best for them. And that's what we've just got to do as accountants and bookkeepers, is just keep moving with the times and keep up to date with the best thing for that client.
Yeah, and I think what clients possibly don't always really appreciate is, over the years, a lot of time by accountants is spent in professional development on tax issues and the technical side of things. But as time goes on, not only have you got to keep on top of that, it's the technology changes and the evolving world. We've obviously got political influences at the moment. There's so many things that you have to train on and consider.
Yeah.
It all feeds in to producing that set of accounts at the end of the year that you sit and go through and explain to a client and then tell them their tax bill. There's so much stuff that goes into that behind it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think that's one of the good things about where I work is, said earlier that I know a little bit about a lot, but I know the warning signs as well of, hang on, we need to get a specialist advice on this. And then where I work, we're really fortunate to have some really talented people that can help with that. And even if it's so obscure and they're not 100% sure, we've got another load of firms that we kind of partner up with under Prime Global that can also help as well. So I've had some quite obscure questions recently, with all the politics going on at the moment. So we can throw a lot of stuff at us and we'll be able to handle it.
Yeah, no, that's what I really like, and I like that when I worked with Larking Gowen. Obviously, as you progress in a career, people move on, they go other places, but some of the people who I worked with at Larking Gowen have gone on to become real specialists in their field, in firms that only specialise in that area.
Yeah.
So even though, again, hopefully you guys resolve things internally, but even if you don't, I say you've got Prime Global, you've got other avenues that you can go down, and you've got a good network of legal experts, haven't you, that you know, bankers, finance brokers, all those type of people. That again all adds to the benefit of working with a well-respected firm like yourselves. Right, we're going to backtrack a little bit. Last question. I said I was going to give you a surprise question, but I can't think of anything. But this one isn't a surprise question. So right at the beginning, we talked about you going into accountancy. You joined as an apprentice with your AAT.
Yep.
You then went on to ACA.
Yep.
You're the posh one.
Yeah.
You're the posh one. I did ACCA. Apparently that's the easier one. But Larking Gowen take on quite a few apprentices every year, which is fantastic. It provides a great opportunity for people to get into accountancy. Morphry Thyme, we've got our first apprentice starting in September, which is both exciting and daunting.
It is exciting though, isn't it? I do think training someone and seeing them come through and doing all their exams while also working, I think it is amazing that they can do that. So.
Let's just say neither of us went to university, and we've done okay. I think we've done all right. But if someone came to you, I know you do some of the schools events, don't you? But if someone comes up to you and says, I'm thinking of going into accountancy, why should I? What are the benefits? What can I achieve? What do you tend to say to them?
I mean, I think a lot of the time people will think it's quite a boring job. You're an accountant. But it's not that boring. There's always something different to do, whether you're advising a huge company or someone that's just started up. And the benefits for me personally is, what's the time now? It's like must be around 8:30ish, and I've got that flexibility that clients will appreciate, that I'll get back to them as soon as I can. It's sort of also because of the relationship I have with them as well, but it's quite deadline driven, our jobs, aren't they? But you have peaks and troughs, and it's you have to be quite dedicated to get those deadlines sorted. But the flexibility of you've had a couple of weeks where you've had to work a lot and then you've got that time off later on. The other benefits are, like I said earlier, when you if you're not sure what to do, the skills that you can get from working in an office environment in an accountancy firm are so transferable to anything you might do later on in life. There's huge benefits to it, and the benefits of doing the apprenticeship is you time management skills very early on, because you've got to do your job as well as studying. Our apprentices have time off for studying, which is great as well. So they get that support, which I think a lot of them do as apprentices. So huge benefits of doing that.
Definitely. And you've obviously got go that way. Freddie, this way.
Albie.
Come on, Albie.
Albie, this way.
Got a dog confrontation.
No.
Come on. Round this way. There we go. Right. No, I think you're right. And I think as well what firms like Larking Gowen recognise is that not every apprentice that comes through is going to stick in with Larking Gowen for life. And people will develop and they'll grow. I've got a good track record. You're a good example. And if you go to Faken, there's a good few examples in Faken as well. But you can start your career with a well-respected firm. You could go on to be an FD, a CFO, or CEO. A lot of accountants become good CEOs because they've got that business acumen. And I know there's a number of people I'm connected with on LinkedIn who are former Larking Gowen employees who've gone on to be very successful. And there's obviously other people who are at Larking Gowen, like yourself, who've become very successful as well and done remarkable things and achieved a lot in 11 years. It's 11 years. It's so that's how I met I think I said, don't know if I said so, that's how I met Megan 11 years ago. She joined as the apprentice in Fakenham. Used to do quite a lot of the accounts prep jobs, which again 11 years ago looked very different to probably what an accounts prep job is these days.
Big old cash books.
Yes. Do you get any cash books come in these days?
I think there's the odd one, but not
people don't appreciate it. All the juniors probably would look at you and think, what on earth is this? But if I said to you a microfiche, would you know what that was?
No, that's
very old.
Was when I started it was a Simplex D, ins and outs.
Microfiche, where it used to be scanned into like a tape, and then you put it on a device, and then you'd look at this through a magnifying glass at all these images.
No, that's really old then.
That was when I started. They were then getting rid of all of those. Right, go down this way. Otherwise, we're going to get dogs disappearing on us. Cool.
It's the long grass. Loving life.
Cool. Right. I can't think of any other question to ask Megan. Obviously, if you want to put something in the comments, if anybody watches, hopefully some people will watch. Any questions for Megan, for me? If you want to talk to Megan about what services that her and her team can provide, please do get in touch with them. We'll stick Megan's contact details in the comments, or you can just go on Larking Gowen's website and search Megan Howard. She'll be on there.
Pink as usual.
Yeah. So thank you for joining me this morning and giving a bit of an insight into your career and what you do. Hopefully we'll do it again another time. We'll get someone else from Larkins along. You'll have to give a few. There's not many people who would do this though. I know when I used to do B&I, there was probably only you and Laura were the only two people who would really ever cover.
I think that's one thing that I'd also say to people, actually, that last question you had, benefits and stuff, is just take every opportunity. So if that apprenticeship comes over your desk or something comes up and you think, what, you don't want to be in what if I did that scenario. Just learn as much as you can. I think my advice to anyone that's already doing the apprenticeship as well, maybe already an accountant, is take every bit of knowledge that you can while you can. So as we've said, I'm already a senior manager after 11 years, and having that, I basically said yes to everything. Sometimes it's a bad thing because I had so much to do, but you then can take so much and really get that foundation before you then go off and do whatever you want to do. So
before we came on camera, Megan told me her phrase: "It's better to ask for forgiveness
don't tell everyone that.
than for ask for permission." That isn't always true,
No,
by the way,
no.
but in a lot of cases, when you need to get something done, it can be.
Yeah.
But yes. But anyway, thank you for joining me this morning. I'll let you say cheerio, give a wave.
Enjoy the sun.
Yes, it's look at that sky. Enjoy it today if you can, because there's going to be thunderstorms in the morning, and apparently we're going to get floods, and parts of the country have got drought warnings, so hopefully it'll top up the reservoirs. Okay, so that's all from today's Ben on the Fen, Megan on the Moor. Next week, no Ben on the Fen. Will be, I don't know, I can't even think of an alliteration, but I'll be joined with Chris Reeve of Reeve Social Media, and also of Radio Norfolk and Talk Norwich City fame. We'll be talking about all things personal brand and getting yourself out there, primarily on LinkedIn, but across other socials. Dipping into his mind and how he advises his clients, and basically how you can get yourself out there in the digital world, because it's not just enough to have your sign above the door these days. So that'll be really exciting. We're going to be down at the UEA, I think, Wildlife Trail. So a new location, no dog that week, which next week, which will be good. And then the following week, we won't have a Ben on the Fen live on the Friday. I'll actually be Ben on the Fen on the Saturday, where myself and some of the team members, we've got another dog. Morning.
Morning, Kate.
So yeah, myself and a few of the team members on the Saturday are going to be joining the Derham litter pickers on the last Saturday to do help with litter pick around Derham. So I'll go live with a few of their team just to introduce themselves, and we'll also talk about hopefully by then we'll have achieved our Land's End to John O'Groats walking charity fundraiser, which we're up to. We've only got about £100 left to go to hit our target. So if anybody watches and they want to make a donation, or they can, please do. All details are on our social pages. You'll be able to find the link on there. So we've got a couple there. And then beginning of July, we've got a visitor or guest lined up for the first Friday in July. We'll have Oliver Dennison with us from NRG Solutions. Oliver is a carbon reporting and energy efficiency expert, advises businesses on how to reduce their carbon footprint, how to become more energy efficient off the back of that, which ultimately saves them money and helps to protect the planet. So lots going on over the next few weeks, and in between that I've got to do some work. So that's all from me today. Hope you all have a great weekend, and I'll catch you all next week with Chris. Take care, everyone. Bye.